Everyone's already figured it out. Amado is the real puppet master of this whole story, and the further the plot goes, the more you have to wonder, what else is he hiding beyond his plans, and whose power is he holding back besides Kawaki's? I'm going to break all of that down for you right now, but before I do, make sure to support the channel with a like and a subscribe. We're super close to hitting 500 subscribers, and every bit of support genuinely makes a difference for the channel's growth. When Amado first laid out his plan, his motivation seemed surprisingly human. The loss of a daughter, the desperate wish to bring back someone he loved. In the world of Naruto, tragedies like that have always driven the biggest story arcs, so Amado's explanation felt believable. But the more facts the manga reveals, the harder it gets to believe things are really that simple. What really caught my attention was the latest chapter of Two Blue Vortex. That's where Kishimoto and Ikamoto dropped an incredibly important detail. Amado can literally adjust Kawaki's stats through a computer system in real time, boosting his defenses, restricting his offense, interfering with his body on the fly, and that's where a massive problem starts to surface. If Amado can do all of that to Kawaki, why would we assume his other creations are any freer from that kind of control? Maybe none of them ever were. Think back to Delta. A single command is all it takes to shut her down. Think about the special voice commands tied to Kawaki. We've been treating these details like they're separate pieces of a puzzle, but when you put them together, the picture looks completely different, and that's where things get really interesting. Let's talk about Code. Throughout the manga, we've been told that once his limiters are removed, Code should become stronger than Jigen, one of the most dangerous beings on the planet. But what have we actually seen? A character with insane potential, who keeps falling short of expectations. A lot of people chalk that up to poor story planning, but what if the real reason is something else entirely? What if the limiters were never fully removed? Put yourself in Amado's shoes. If you give Code total freedom and the full power of an Otsutsuki, he becomes an uncontrollable variable. A character like that could blow up the entire plan, but if you keep part of those restrictions hidden, the situation changes completely. He stays strong enough to cause the right kind of problems for Amado, dangerous enough to trigger a crisis, useful enough to produce Shinju trees, but not strong enough to ever spiral out of control. And this is where my theory gets genuinely exciting, because the appearance of the Shinju turns out to be incredibly convenient, specifically for Amado. Think about it. Konoha now faces a global-scale threat. Kawaki is up against enemies he can't guarantee he'll defeat. Fear starts to grow, and so does the need for new power. And who's the only person who can actually provide that power? Amado, of course. Kawaki's entire life has been built around one idea. When a problem shows up, he needs to get stronger. That mindset was shaped back in the days of Ishiki. But unlike Ishiki, Amado doesn't force, he guides. And that's so much more dangerous. If Kawaki figures out that his current strength isn't enough to fight the Shinju, he'll come to Amado on his own. He'll ask for help on his own. He'll agree to whatever terms Amado sets on his own. And that's exactly what we're seeing in the newer chapters. Kawaki has officially become Amado's puppet. Now let's get into Ada's omniscience. Amado's reaction to the global memory swap is one of the most underrated moments in the entire manga. Nearly the whole world accepted the new reality without question. But Amado reacts differently. He analyzes the data, he checks the facts. I'm convinced he figured out a long time ago that those new memories contradict objective information. When he looks at Kawaki's body, he sees his own work. He knows every modification, every detail, every single component he installed. So if the memories say one thing and the hard facts say another, he goes with the facts. And more than that, he's deliberately keeping that knowledge to himself, because information is power, and power has always been Amado's most important tool. And here's the key thing. If all of the cyborgs are under Amado's control, then he can see every single one of them through his computer system. Boruto doesn't have any modifications, meaning he's not a cyborg. And that's the main reason Amado can tell that Kawaki is Kawaki. Throughout all of Naruto, power has always come with a price. The Mangekyo awakens through loss. Even Naruto himself only got stronger through endless trials and suffering. Amado offers a completely different model. He turns power into a product, a function you can switch on or off. And that's exactly what opens up the question of what his real endgame actually is. Akebi might not be the final destination. She might just be an intermediate step, because everything Amado does, all of it looks like research into one one fundamental question. How do you turn a shinobi into something more? How do you create an Otsutsuki artificially? Not find one, not replicate one, but genuinely create one. If that's true, then the final conflict of Boruto is going to be bigger than any shinobi war. It won't be about strength, it won't be about technique. It'll be about the right to create Otsutsuki. Perhaps Amado has also prepared a karma for himself, and eventually he will gain the power of an Otsutsuki. And that's what makes Amado the complete opposite of everything Naruto stood for across decades of storytelling. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.